Big day for Apple, but our renegade Steve Russolillo, our market renegade, is here to tell us why Apple doesn't actually matter that much. I know it's blasphemy on Apple's big day, but Steve is here to tell us a little bit more. Steve, lay it out for us.
What an intro! Yeah. So obviously Apple has a huge influence on the market. It accounts for about 5% of the S&P 500, almost 13% of the Nasdaq. These are well-known facts. Everyone knows Apple's influence. But
what they don't know
is that if you look at Apple's trading just on a day-to-day basis, Apple is actually less correlated to the overall market compared to just an average S&P 500 stock. So basically what that means is that we had some data crunch by Barini Associates. They're basically a market research firm, and they came out and they figured out that on a day-to-day basis, Apple is actually less correlated. So what Apple does doesn't necessarily drive what the market does on a day-to-day basis. And so it's pretty fascinating. I mean, you saw it actually yesterday on a smaller basis, but Apple was down 0.3%. The S&P 500 was up 0.3%. So if you're looking at it just a day-to-day basis, what Apple does doesn't necessarily drive what the broad market does.
What the broader market does. Yes. And we're going to have George Stahl on shortly to tell us more about what this new product might be and what we can expect. But it's also interesting because there's so much hype leading up to Apple ahead of any announcement, and then often when the announcement comes out, the stocks actually don't do. The stock doesn't do as well that very day.
The classic buy the rumor, sell the news, and so you're actually seeing that this week a little bit. There's been so much hype about what this event is going to be, and the stock has had such a big run up, but down more than 2% on Monday, down a little bit yesterday. Again, in the grand scheme of things, not a huge difference because Apple is still up more than 60% for the year, but you're seeing a little bit of that. So,
and thank you for your digging and your data. That's great. And let's turn to the broader stock market. With futures, what can you tell us about
futures? Futures are up a little bit right now. Dow futures up about 30 around 8:30 a.m. Eastern, and so I think right now people are focused on Europe. There was a big vote over in Germany. The German Constitutional Court basically upheld sort of the legality of the European bailout mechanisms like the ESM and
that was expected, but still obviously good news to have it confirmed.
Good news to have it confirmed. That's a great point because it was expected, but if it did not pass for whatever reason, I think you would have seen a lot of jitters and a lot of concern about what was going to happen next for all these bailouts that all these different countries in Europe are requesting. So the fact that it did pass, very good sign. European markets are up after that. The U.S. is sort of following suit right now. And now the focus turns to Apple as well as the Fed meeting starts today. It's a two-day Fed meeting, and we're going to get the statement tomorrow on whether QE3 is coming or not. And so,
speaking of which, we're going to get, I think, a promo up. We're going to have coverage all day about all day tomorrow about the all day today. And tomorrow as well on the decision. Tomorrow decision on the interest rates. It starts today, but we're going to have the coverage tomorrow.
Exactly. The press conference and statement are both tomorrow. So yeah, the coverage is going to be both days.